Hey Jordan, I'm Mike Manal from the Nerds of Color. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Congratulations on this movie. Sir, I need to tell you that you stole the show from everyone. You have some seasoned professionals there. Folks that have been in Marvel movies, folks that have been in like Game of Thrones. But you stole the show from all of them because we loved you in this. I loved seeing you in this, and I thought you were just terrific. What was it like kind of working with this ensemble and just on the production in general? I mean, like, what was that like for you?
When I first arrived on the production, I was a bit nervous because it was this new atmosphere. I was in Massachusetts, which is somewhere I've never been before. So it was a completely different feeling. And when I was my first day on set, um, I really just didn't really know how to act, but I just let my performance just take me away, and I just let my acting just, be the words for me. So and then to have to work with such amazing actors and to work with people who, like you said, have been in Marvel movies, have been in Game of Thrones, it was just such a pleasure, and I'm just so honored to work with them.
You did just a really great job. I thought you and Lewis had great chemistry, and honestly, one of my favorite scenes really is in the last act at the drive-in because you guys just make the best vampire hunting team ever, in my opinion. You had to do a lot of physical stuff in this. I was very surprised, and I was like, this kid's got guts. At one point you're suspended like upside down for an entire scene, and you're kind of exploring these creepy sort of spaces like basements and stuff. I mean, from your end, from a physical side, was there anything that was really difficult or challenging for you that you were just like, oh man, this is tough, but I'm gonna soldier through it?
Yeah, so like you said, the upside down stunt where I was hanging for a while, we was doing continuous takes, but even though it was very challenging and I got dizzy really fast, I didn't expect to get dizzy that fast, but I'm just so glad I stuck through it because it really just turned out to look really awesome on camera. And you can definitely see that through the film.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was like, this kid is tough. I mean, he's a badass. Oh my God. It was nuts to see that, and I was so impressed. Gary, of course, has had his hand in so many horror productions in the past. I mean, he's one of the co-creators of the Conjuring series and everything like that. So when he came and approached you for this role, and really with the script that he had, what was your reaction? Were you familiar with already the miniseries or the book? And then what really pushed you to take this one?
So when I saw that Mr. Dauberman was directing it, I couldn't even believe it because I've watched pretty much I think all of his projects. I love the Annabelle series. I love the Conjuring series. He even helped direct and write It, which was one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations that I've ever seen. And I couldn't even believe it. So I knew I had to get this role. I had to work with him because that'd just be a dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of a cool thing to be a part of a Stephen King adaptation, I think. And for somebody who co-wrote it and did such an amazing job on those movies. I mean, I would definitely take something like this in a heartbeat because I mean, Gary, and it's because it's Stephen King. I love that you're so familiar with his work already. Would you consider yourself a horror fan? Like, what are some of your favorites?
Yeah, I've been watching horror movies for so many years now. My mom was the one who actually got me into it, and I just I can't stop watching them. It's like with every single one, it just gets better and better. And I guess if I had to pick maybe a couple that's specific to me, Annabelle Creation, which is one that Mr. Dauberman directed and and wrote. And then I guess if I had to pick another one, it would be The Shining and then Doctor Sleep. Just some of the classics.
I love your taste in movies, honestly. Shining and Doctor Sleep are two of my favorites. Doctor Sleep is so underrated. Like, it's such a good movie. And Mike Flanagan's a genius. I love that, honestly. Great taste. Were you pretty like familiar with the mini series for Salem's Lot? And did you watch it or take any inspirations from some of the performances there for your character?
Um, so during the auditioning process for my character, I tried to do as much research as I could. I watched the original Salem Lot, which was really good, and then I watched the mini series, and put I tried to mix all three of these adaptations. The new one who just aired today, and the original one with Rob Lowe, and then the miniseries. So I tried to put my own spin on it while taking those two other previous projects into consideration. So
You could definitely see that when you're watching this. As someone who loved the mini series, it was interesting to see this new interpretation. And what I love is that you guys really redefine these characters, in ways that we haven't seen them presented before. So I was really grateful for a new vision of this and new directions that you guys took these characters and their performances, especially you. You did such a great job. Um, yeah, I mean, like, as far as just kind of working with Bill Camp and with everyone and kind of their vampire makeup on, what was your reaction when you first saw them just kind of vamp out? Was it creepy for you? Were you like, oh, dang, that looks crazy? Was that intimidating for you at all to work alongside scenes with them dressed like that?
yeah, so when I first saw Nicholas Corvetti, which is the one who played Danny, when I first saw him as a vampire, I wasn't too afraid until I first saw Barlow. And when I first saw him, I honestly thought like I was the only one who saw him. Like time just stopped. So I was like, is that really a vampire in the in the corner of my eye, or am I just hallucinating? But I, you know, it was just so scary seeing him for the first time. But then when he started talking and everything, I was like, oh, okay. I'm still in the movie.
I that scene with you and Nicholas in the bedroom, it's one of the most iconic moments, I think, in this entire story. And you guys pulled it off so brilliantly, especially with like the cross glowing and everything. Gary shot it really well. You acted it in it really well, and Nicholas did too. Loved it. Just had to say that. Just had to say that. Um, I my last question for you really is, King has so many amazing novels and stories out there. We talked about it. We're talking about Salem's Lot right now. I asked this of the rest of the team, of the rest of the cast, but I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it too. If you could just reunite with this cast once more to do another King adaptation, what would you want that to be? And if Gary were directing and everything like that, is there any particular story you'd love to see or be part of that you haven't been a part of yet?
Let me think. Probably would have to go with hmm. I think Pet Cemetery.
Ooh,
That would definitely be really cool to work on with the rest of the cast, and I think we can put a new spin on it. I mean, of course, the original was really good, and then the other adaptation of that was really good as well. But I would just kind of like to see, what it would be like to have all of us back together again, just like you said, and that'd be really cool.
I'd love to see that, honestly. Just kind of a different take on Pet Cemetery, and then with this entire ensemble that just did an amazing job adapting Salem's Lot. I think you guys would crush it. So fingers crossed for the future. Um, Jordan, amazing job. I can't wait for people to see this. Salem's Lot drops on Max today, and you are the breakout, sir. Everyone's going to find that out and discover you, and just be like, oh my God, this kid's amazing, just like I did. So congratulations, well done. And yeah, hopefully we get to see you in another Stephen King adaptation soon.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
Lectures, fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.